Every time I do the show, I think to myself that after 20 years, more than 1,800 episodes, I sometimes think that I've seen and heard it all, but then someone comes along and says, no, you haven't. Now, here's something really strange. Imagine taking somebody into your environment, into your home, trusting them, trying to uplift them, and then they clear out the house when you're not there. Now, that's exactly what happened. And I'm trying to still understand where that all started.
It started about plus minus a year back when this couple actually were homeless in Paul. And my sister advised me, there's a Muslim couple, don't you want to take care of them or have a place for them? And I said, okay, bring them down. The lady used to help us clean the house. And the gentleman sometimes used to clean the property, but he used to work outside as well also, and he used to also receive like a SASA grant. And I'll be honest with you, they prayed with us. They actually ate the same food, whatever we are eating. And I think the saddest part of everything is that we had really trusted them. Because, like I just said, like we were like a family almost. She actually called my son already. And I think that is one of the saddest part.
You take this couple into your environment, onto your property, and this is you trying to uplift somebody, do something good for them, get them to the next point, and you then go, and time then goes by, you then go out on a bit of a break holiday and you're out of the house, and you come back. What did you see when you came back?
I think the most...
Or can I ask you what was left to see?
Okay, I think before we come there, I think the most disappointment was when I actually got a video clip from a neighbor, how they're actually loading the vehicle. And to think it was them, it was somebody else, maybe I would have never felt so disappointed there. But the thing is, people that you entrusted, that was in your environment, that you had that sort of a love for, and yet, out of being the carry person, you become the victim.
Well, I visited the home of Zain Allie in Cape Town when I heard about the story that they had trusted some people to live in their home, and what subsequently happened was that they left the home on, whether it's a break or whatever, I'm going to find out all about that, and to come back to find out that somebody had cleared out lots of their belongings, people that they've trusted, and left home. But I want to try and understand, Zain, when you got back into the home after you've been out and you saw that the home had been tampered with in terms of your belongings were missing and all of that, did you immediately think that it was somebody that you knew that done that, or did that take some time to manifest?
I immediately knew because due to the video clip that my neighbor have sent me.
So you got the video clip first?
First, yes. And on that video clip I reacted to come home immediately.
So you were sitting out of town,
we were out
got the video clip, and then...
That's correct, yes. And I actually noticed it's the two of them that is actually loading the goods in the car. And that is when I came immediately home. So on my way home, I already knew it was the two of them.
What were you thinking when you were busy driving home?
If I was thinking about driving home, if I have to see them now, I would have definitely lost my anger. Because of the disappointment, how can it be them? And not somebody else, perhaps, because I entrusted them to look after the property. Although, like the house was completely locked, and they had their own back section where they actually lived. But because they were on the property, for me, when I left, it was a peace of mind that at least there's somebody on the property to take care of the facilities around.
What exactly did they load?
I'll be honest with you. As we first came in, I first missed my 55-inch TV.
Oh, that's a good start.
Because that's the biggest item. And as we go along, my mother missed jewelry and all that it was in the drawers. And then my wife went through the stuff and we missed some of our clothing, our toiletries, even, not to mention, even a small bottle of attar was also gone. Our taxis is gone.
So much for leaving a cent behind, I suppose.
And besides that, there was even a small Quran. And that was also gone.
That's rather interesting.
Interesting. For me, it was very interesting. Why would they take the Quran, a small Quran with them? But I think that is just a particular thing to use a scam to use it for the next
to
camp.
throw the trail off.
Yes,
to what's
the
going on.
people, if they meet people again, to have it sort of, people see them with a smoker on, it softened the party actually, whoever's going to take them in their homes again. And as we go along, I noticed the Xbox was gone, my mother's, the Netflix's boxes were gone, our OV8, all that stuff was gone. And then I actually waited till my sons came home, and they came about an hour or two afterwards. And then I believe they actually ransacked their laptops, their clothing, their tackies.
Well, this is a serious load of
Even
things.
up to our meat, groceries were stolen.
Well, that's like really clearing you out.
Yeah.
And they clearly knew where certain things were.
Yeah, obviously because she was busy like working in the house. She knew exactly where everything was.
So that didn't take long.
So it didn't take long actually.
I want to come to how you feel about all of that a bit later, but I just want to get onto some of the more technical issues here. You then come home. They were already gone.
Yes, they were gone already, yes.
How did you find them?
I'll be honest with you, my son actually posted on Facebook, and on every chat that we can actually sort of know families,
And that's
friends.
the video from the camera.
Yes.
Right.
And I had a copy of her ID, and as well as a photo of her as well. And we posted on Facebook, and it's been viral, and and also put in the newspaper, the Voice newspaper as well. And yesterday actually, we got a phone call, anonymous phone call, a tip of actually, that they know where they are.
And subsequent to that?
So obviously for me, it was like a victory aspect, because I was so pleased with, that knowingly it will actually viral, and here it is some response actually onto it.
Did you manage to retrieve any of those things?
It was a positive response. I won't say, I didn't much retrieve much goods actually back, because the tackies that they stole from me, they were actually wearing it, and they stole from my wife, they were actually wearing it. So
that's like literally
it's like the
being on the run with the stuff
the stuff back.
It's like being on the run with the stuff that you stole.
Unfortunately, we had to take it off now because it had to be proved by the police now that this is our goods. And
you saw them?
Yes, they didn't realize it was me.
And what was the response when you saw them?
I'll be honest with you, before I sort of went through, with the anonymous call, I also felt it can be a trick. So I actually made a contact with the Amir of Pagat itself, because I felt personally, nowadays you cannot trust in anybody actually.
Correct, yes.
Knowingly, I just went through this where I trusted people. So what if this anonymous call can be also... And then I actually called the Amir of Pagat, and they actually gave me assistance actually, where I actually caught those guys.
One sets out to do something good. And I take it that as human beings we gravitate to always doing something good, and we try. But there must be a sense of profound sadness on your side and disappointment.
No, definitely. It will be very hard, although we're not supposed to keep it. But like I said, they were like family. To entrust people again, especially a couple with husband and wife. Any
chance that they were on drugs or anything? I'm trying to find what the driving forces were for that.
I'll be honest with you. When we were on holiday, I actually suspected, but I didn't really take it, like suspect somebody, and and I just told myself, look, when I come home, I will really look into it, but not really at that particular time. Where I sort of had a suspect.
I'm assuming and thinking that the minute you said that you're going on a break, the heist was planned. I don't think it was a spur of the moment thing. I think this was planned.
I think it was well planned, but yet I only notified them the Wednesday, and I left the Thursday night.
Oh, they probably discussed it all night.
But obviously, like from a Thursday night to a Sunday, they had
enough time
to
go shopping
to have a shopping. Yes.
If they were watching this video right now, and I'm gonna just after this also get an opinion from my show's attorney Faizal Sayed, just to find out exactly what the process is. I know that your family is very disappointed, and that you're disappointed in that because, like we said, you set out to do something good, and it happens right in your home. There is a sense of violation.
Yes.
Clearly, one feels violated when someone has infringed that personal space. But if they were watching the show right now, what would your message to them be?
I think my message to them is there's always there's a 99 chance of getting away, but 100th time you will be caught. And they must do realize that they also as well got family and children, because I believe they do have children. So what example are they for parents to their children? But justice has to be served, because I believe it's not the first time. As we had messages on Facebook and all that people, they are quite known for doing it at the previously homes also as well. But my personal opinion is, I personally feel justice must prevail, in other words.
I actually want you to give them a direct message, noting that they sat on the table with you, they came to pray in your house, and you've taken the extra mile to do what you've done to get them on the road. I just want you to give them a message.
My message to them is, never take from somebody that wants to uplift you. And always try to uplift yourself, help yourself when somebody else wants to help you. And if you're not going to accept that, then there's no life for your future.
Thank you, Zain. I must admit, in my opinion, I think I can see why, in a way, there's a part of me that's saying that, Zain, I think you opened your heart to people, and I can see that, because even through all of this, you still are managing to maintain a certain type of composure and advice to people that had aggrieved you. So hats off to you for that when somebody does something to you, you're not able to take that out in the wrong way. But I hope that you continue doing good and doing what you're doing, because we cannot at times take the bad of one person and paint everyone else with that. Just after the break, I chat to Faizal. I just want his opinion from a legal perspective as to what he thinks is the process going forward. I'm joined by my show's attorney, Faizal Abrams, to just give me a viewpoint, Faizal, in summary. I know that you've been listening to the matter and just having a look at what's going on there. I must say that crime is taking every shape and size in South Africa, and every time you hear something new, generally one expects someone you don't know to have broken into your home, but this time it was the other way around. Just from a legal process, noting that there was intervention on the matter, there was proactivity in the community to get the suspects nabbed. What's normally the process forward now when it comes to the police and the court proceedings?
I think it's also important to mention that when you look at the stats in South Africa currently says that housebreaking and theft, there's been last year, if you look at 2019, 2020, the stat shows more than 1.2 million housebreaking in South Africa.
In the world? Oh.
Yeah. In South Africa.
Yeah.
South Africa's, according to the stats, South Africa is one of the highest. And that means 890.
It's actually disgusting.
891,000 households that has been affected, which amounts to about 5.9% of the crimes in South Africa. It's bad. It's bad. Coming back to the process. So the process, what we're looking at is now that the individuals who has now been arrested will be processed. The detective in charge will then establish whether the individual have any previous records, current pending cases, and current warrants outstanding for other crimes that they may have committed, either similar or any other crime.
There's been some talk of all of that.
That's correct. So once a process, that docket is processed, what we call processing, it will then go to court, where the senior prosecutor, the DPP or SPP at least, will peruse the document and establish whether this is a prosecutorial, it's a case for prosecution. Once that goes, they will appear in court and they will be given an opportunity to be granted bail, and also they will be given an opportunity to obtain the services of a legal advisor, a legal practitioner. Yeah.
So that's basically the process forward, and that could go either way depending on what happens in court and that way. And
yeah. What you find usually is that individuals lose all hope and faith in the system. Why? Because it becomes a bit of a tedious process. And as the gentleman previously alluded, that don't give up, make the case, and then win and follow the process. You know, many people lose hope and they find it very tedious, because they have to stay out of work every time and appear.
And there's all these postponements and all that.
That's correct. Usually the complainant becomes a witness in the case, and the detective will then subpoena the witness when it's given a particular time. The accused, however, will have to appear at least twice or thrice before the matter really goes to trial. So the first appearance would simply be what we call a first appearance, and the opportunity will be given to obtain either legal aid or a private attorney. Thereafter, the attorney will come on record, and if the investigation is complete, they will then proceed where the attorney on record will apply for what we call further particulars. Further particulars is in fact the docket, the statement made by the complainant, the evidence against the accused, where the accused will now be given an opportunity, or is a legal representative will be given an opportunity to peruse the dockets and see where there are any technicalities to use in order to bring up a defense, or whether they have a defense. Another option that the parties will have is to mediate the matter. So mediation usually takes place where the individual who complained about the theft or the crime, while given an opportunity to speak to the accused and say, are they able to mediate and come to a conclusion where the assets are returned, and they are given an opportunity to maybe do some community services, or make do what they've caused wrong, so to speak. Yeah. If that mediation is unsuccessful and the complainant says, no, I want the state to proceed with this particular case, then the state will proceed with the case in the form of running a trial.
Fazlin, thank you. What's interesting is that I want to just go back to what Zain said earlier on, and that was that one needs to see a process to the end. So many people become tired and lethargic, and maybe in that way we actually end up contributing to the rise in crime of the numbers that Fazlin spoke about, because people feel they can just get away at times. But the process is lethargic, and we know that. But I think, if I should say there's any advice from my side, and that's see a process to the end, so that we can put an end to crime. The other dimension is that I just quickly want to touch on is the fact that I picked up that through all of that, Zain is still prepared to do good in the world, because I suppose you get put in the back on this one, but the others that you continue doing good might benefit someone and change someone's life forever. So don't give up on doing good. But I think it's important to keep one's eyes peeled and do things in an appropriate manner and put the correct checks and balances in place when you do anything. Until next time, thank you for joining us. Goodbye.